Okay, so I'm gonna make this video for y'all to understand something about black women and their children. And I don't really care who accepts this, understands it, or wants to, okay? If you don't have children and you are not someone's mother and you're not a young woman who has not lived as long as I have, I don't really give a damn about your comments. You can make whatever video you want about me, call me what you want. It will have no effect on my life or my existence. What I was saying in reference to the comment that is often made about black women and their black male sons is extremely fucking stupid. Completely. When you are a mother to children, okay, whether they're sons or daughters, you, if you're a good mother, you love your children, period. You understand the developmental process of children. They all have the same developmental process. If black women actually love their children, right? And I'm not saying they don't by saying that, but this is theoretically, okay? And how it would work if things were done idealistically, right? So if you love your children the way you're supposed to, exactly the way you're supposed to, and you understand all of the developmental stages children go through, from being an embryo to a grown-ass person, right? You understand that if you really wanted the black community to change, regardless of all this stupid shit and clique that goes on with divestors, BWE, and people who are just independently an individual who do their own things on YouTube, which I am, you would understand that it does not make sense trying to harbor ill will towards children. They got to grow up first to do wicked shit for you to have a problem with them. So in the in-between time, when you have the ability to mold their minds, change the way that they'll do things in life, that's what you should do. Because your job is to raise them to an adult. Once they become an adult and they decide to do what they want to do, you don't have anything to do with that. All right? But that is your job as a parent. Your job is not to neglect your child just because it's a boy and because black males are out here killing women and girls and trafficking them and doing everything else. You would be the sickest fucking person in the world to do that. And you would also end up in jail, and all types of things would happen to you because there are laws in this country and there's a level of human decency that people are supposed to have, regardless of the circumstances and situations that go on in our community. There's no way in the world you're going to tell me now, then, or when I was younger and my children were small, you're going to tell me that I should abuse my children, mistreat them, and disown them simply because they're a male child, and I must take out on my child that has not a damn thing to do with what other people's children are doing to punish him for what other people do. There's no way in the world I'm going to do some shit like that. And if you have a problem with that, then you just have a problem with that. Because the bottom line is, as much as there are good mothers out here and fathers, but basically I'm talking about moms right now, there are fucked up ones too. And if you are actually a black woman that actually thinks that by treating her son harshly and then abandoning him with his father, that makes you a good mother, or you're protecting black women and girls, you're a fool. And what you're doing is you're just increasing the hatred towards women and girls in the black community, because people go through developmental stages where their mentality is developed and their psychology is formed. So everybody's always yelling out the fact that people are not fully supposed to be mature until after the age of 25 or 26, right? So just take a second to read a psychology book on child development, and you will know that the most impressive years are from 7 to 10, and then once again in the adolescence phase, right? And during that adolescence phase, There is a very violent phase that boys go through that if you do not deal with them appropriately and give them proper instruction, and this comes about due to puberty and the chemical imbalances and changes that go through their body that make them do things quite differently from girls when they go through the same process. So this is normally the time when women put their children through, into sports and make them exercise off or burn off all that extra energy and puberty change. They also go through growth spurts and all other types of spurts in their bodies, mental spurts. It's a lot with children. And when you have children and you're a real mother where you take the time to learn all of these, not only physical changes, but mental changes children go through, you know that when you guys are on here talking all this stuff about how harshly you want to treat little black boys because you've heard some dumbass chick like DZ say it or someone else, you're just showing how fucking ignorant you are and how you don't really know how to raise children. Because your job as a mother is to do the very best you can in raising your sons to become better men than their fathers and the community and what the rest of the men are doing in it. And when you do that, that is all you're responsible for. And then when that person grows up and they either do the right thing or they don't, that has nothing to do with you. And someone else's daughter, if their mother is teaching them properly, or they just become aware of the dangers in this world to black women on a whole, because all men are fucking dangerous, especially to black women. Even though I know what you're referring to is the murder and the killings by black femicide from black males every 4 to 5 hours in our communities, because this is nationwide a pandemic. Just be fatigué. So, my words. So the thing is, that's one thing. But when you look at the danger to black women overall, it's all men. There was an actual study done. They looked back over 22 years or 21 years. I posted it on my community page in Chicago to show you that black women face danger every day of their life in their communities. Whether it is violent crimes, non-violent crimes, or just any type of assault people want to put upon them, even verbal assault. And this is from the extension of respectability politics from slavery, because people think that we are not worth anything. So just because I come out with an unpopular opinion does not make me a person that is advocating for black males or want to love little black boys. I'm telling you what is expected as a person who has some sense and wants to do the right thing and understands how human beings function and how and what they need to grow. I'm not a little kid and I'm not a damn fool. I'm not going to come on YouTube and just be talking all types of reckless, retarded shit just because people want to hear it. I have children. I have 7 children, and 3 of them are boys. And I'm not going to forsake or discard my sons because a bunch of black women feel like they should just be mistreated because they're males. Not one of my sons has ever killed anybody, harmed anybody, or nor will they. And there's several black women's sons like that. The degenerate motherfuckers that are out there killing black women and being insecure and having all those type of problems is 9 times out of 10 because they come from a family of dysfunctional fucking people, both mothers and fathers and everybody else. That is the reality of it. So if you want to change things, you change the climate and the conditions black people come out of. That is what my comment was referring to. But believe me, I give no fucks about what you call me, what you say, or how you attack me, because that doesn't change anything I do on this platform or what I want to do on this platform. So you could start to believe whatever the hell you want to believe about me. Say it too. That doesn't mean shit to me, because what you're talking about is fucking stupid. Women are not supposed to have children, abandon them, or mistreat them or abuse them just because they're a little boy. That is the stupidest shit in the world. Because if somebody turned around and said, do the same thing to little black girls, you would not accept it and you would definitely have a problem with it. Little black boys are not killing black women every 4 to 5 hours of the day. You had one instance where the boy shot his mother because of the virtual headset. Okay, fine. That is an isolated incident, or maybe one of few isolated incidents. They are not the people out there doing this. And why are these black males able to do this is an even bigger question and problem y'all need to deal with. If you would stop fucking with these dudes, stop being in relationships with these dudes, and stop allowing these stupid motherfuckers in your house that we all keep saying, all of us, all the time, but you still keep doing it, that would put a serious dent or reduction in black femicide. So your shit about trying to call me and why would I can make any comment I want, because I don't think like a person who has not lived my life experience and not had children and been a black mother who actually invested in their children. I will say in comments on anything the way I feel. Please do not get shit twisted. You do not police me. No one does. Unbelievable. You could give your comment, your opinion on anything you want. Just don't try to tell me what I should do, or try to make me feel like I should change because you may change your opinion about me. You can do whatever you want, because I'm certainly going to do what I want to do. But seriously, black women, y'all really need to think about how immature, silly, and irrational you sound when you're talking about doing things that make you seem like you are really crazy. The definition of it straight out of the DSM. It makes no sense to talk about. And then you know what, another thing, black women, seriously, you better be careful of the things that you say online, especially if you have children, okay? Because you do know, right, that in addition to supposedly the FBI being on here watching people and what they do and looking for domestic terrorists, you still have old systems that were put into place for the internet by senior President Bush, okay? Like, not senior, junior President Bush, which is shit like carnivore and etc. Because when you say stupid shit like that, and you may hit a flagged word, phrase, or conversation, whatever it is, and the computer starts running through your information, right? And you keep saying things that make them think that they might have to send somebody to check up on you, or even begin unknown intelligence reports on you or surveillance. This is real shit. And I had told you, I have worked in law enforcement for a very long time. You need to be careful about getting so caught up into the propaganda and the nonsense that goes on YouTube, because you really might end up fucking up your life. Because think about what I'm saying. I know here in my state, so many people are being sent to jail for life and having their entire lives torn apart because they're getting so sucked into this nonsense on YouTube that you actually have women killing their children. In addition to the idiotic shit that black males are doing on a continual basis because they're insecure and they have a complete lack of impulse control and a pure hatred for black women and girls, right? So you need to be careful about the things you're saying and you're doing, because you don't want to end up under anybody's radar because of the shit you say on here. Now just think about what you're saying. You're trying to promote. Yeah, I don't really think y'all understand what y'all are doing. You're trying to promote the belief and the behavior and the practices of black women who have children, which are sons are included in that, and those children, to abuse, harm, and abandon their children. You really don't care about little black girls either, because once she is disciplined for doing what she has done, her little girl is going to go into foster care. And if you don't know anything about foster care, if they don't have a relative that will take them in, that will not do the same dysfunctional and damaging things to them that a stranger would do, you don't know a lot about what happens to children when they lose their mothers. Most times when these little girls go into foster care because something happens to their mother or their mom gets arrested, right? They are prostituted, they are raped, they are trafficked, all types of shit happens to them. And this happens to them by strangers and family members who do not really care about them. So when you're out here promoting all this nonsense and this belief and this desired practice of black women to come out here and start abandoning their children so these dudes could grow up with abandonment issues and further want to hurt black women because of the fact that they were hurt in their childhood, it doesn't make sense. And then when you want black women to abuse their kids or do all types of crazy shit to them just because they're little boys, now you're asking for this woman to jeopardize not only herself, but all the rest of her children as well, and their livelihoods and their future. This is why when you come on here and you say all this crazy stuff just to say it, you got to think about sometimes what you're saying, the implications and then the consequences, and not short term, the very, very long term consequences. And this is why y'all really should stop all this silliness with these sectors of black women on YouTube with the divestors and this, that, and the other. Stop trying to promote all this fairy tale shit to black women. There are no fucking saviors for black women. Why don't you just come on here and promote to black women? Listen, if you want shit to change in your community and in your life, you need to get a decent education. You need to have a really expanded mind and a higher level of the way you think about things, and your mentality has to grow. You need to be able to have a position in life where you can afford whatever you want to do in life yourself, without looking for some man to do it for you, because that can lead to so many things. That can lead to a problematic household, or you losing your life, or you living a life of torture and domestic violence until you are no longer here. There's so many things that come out of that. But all y'all seem to want to do is to perpetuate problems for black women. It doesn't seem like y'all really want to solve anything or help them maintain a status quo in life where they're at peace and they have their own, so they don't have to ever worry about doing the shit that people like Shara 7 and others say, like trying to swindle somebody so they can have a roof over their head and a little bit of chump change in their pocket. Come on with all of that bullshit. Everybody that gets involved with these people are not living these perfectly wonderful, self-serving lives. That is some bullshit. Crystal Swirls just did a video the other night, like late or early in the morning, and it was a 22-year-old girl on there living in terror because she's out here following the ill and mal-directed instructions from people on YouTube. And now this girl is caught in a situation where she really wants to get out of it. She's being used and abused, but she has nowhere to go because she's listened to stupid women tell her that she should not aspire to have anything for herself in life, but look to get it by the way of some dude. That doesn't help black women at all. And now you're trying to further damage black women by telling them to inflict suffering on their children. That's gonna seriously go noticed by the public. You don't think an abusive mother is not gonna go unnoticed and that she's gonna have to pay for what she's doing? What's wrong with y'all? Seriously. Take a second and back up from the drama and wanting to be involved in the extended drama of the stupidity that goes on YouTube. And think about people and how shit affects them. As a mother, you don't go out of your way to hurt your children or dislike one of them just because it's a boy. That is the... Yeah, you don't have no kids. You ain't never been nobody's mama, and you don't know what it is to be a mama. There's no fucking way in the world I'm going to be healthy, take care of myself, have an environment that is conducive to my personal wants and wishes and desires, and I'm going to do everything I need to do to have a healthy baby and a healthy delivery, and then come home and have an even healthier life, and then I'm going to start trying to fuck up my life and my existence by abusing my child and hating my child just because it's a boy. You must be out of your fucking mind, or you really don't know how shit works in this world. Y'all Y'all better not listen to these black women, okay? Because clearly I'm telling you, they have issues with being a mother, or they don't know how to be a mother, and they damn sure don't know how to raise children. And they don't know anything about the developmental stages of women. Of children, because you don't do shit like that. When you leave kids with people, they go through all types of things. They develop personality disorders. Oh God, abandonment issues, insecurities, they go through a host of mental problems. And you are creating a lunatic. You really are. You're creating a lunatic by mistreating a child. It doesn't make sense. And what you're saying just doesn't make sense. If you know, because I know you're trying to assume that the father is no good. So because the father is no good, you want to abuse your son and make sure he turns out to be no good by placing him with a person that can only teach him how to be no good. That doesn't make any sense. Now, what does make sense is when you do your job, and after you do your job, your son is not hasn't lived up to your expectations of them, or they're at the age of being grown where they're supposed to fend for themselves, and you want to release them, I agree with that. Because I literally have done that with my own son. When he got too big for his britches, and I had raised him, and I was trying to help him, and he was giving me a lot of stupidity and and no kind of act right, I told him, okay, now you have to go, and that's it. And you're going to go right now, and you're not going to get any help. Since you think this, that, and the other, then you need to make it on your own. That's called tough love. I am 100 in agreement with tough love. But to abuse a child just because he's a little boy, that is some bullshit. I am never with the bullshit. I am always for what is doing the right thing and the way it's supposed to be done. Period. I treat my sons and my daughters exactly the way they needed to be treated, equally. Everybody took out the trash. Everybody washed dishes. Everybody had responsibilities. Everybody was taught to be respectful of each other. Now, what goes on in the majority of black women's homes is I have no control over that. But to be out here telling black women to abuse their sons and abandon them, you're asking for future problems for black women who do not have anything to do with mistreating that child. But you are unleashing a menace to society by mistreating a child when they're young. And you know it. The mistreatment of children has gone on so long and so hard in the black community, which is why we have so many black women with such low self-esteem and all types of issues that this type of rhetoric, belief, and talk is even circling YouTube. If any women on here had a healthy mindset and a healthy parenting practice or behavior or history, you would never be on YouTube talking no crazy shit like that. Because little boys do not hurt. Y'all go ahead with that. Seriously. Ain't no little boys out here killing women every 4 to 5 hours of the day, and little girls. No, there's no collective of them. Like I said, you have a few isolated instances where that has happened. And come on now, come on with the craziness. Y'all are just being silly. And this whole shit with this gender war shit is getting completely out of hand. It really is. If you want to hate black males, hate black males. Do not abuse your boy children. That is so fucking ignorant. That is so ignorant. Do that shit if you want to. And when you serve in life in prison, or you're in prison, then you'll think maybe that wasn't the best idea, okay? That's all I can tell you. And after this, I really don't give a shit about this conversation again, all right? Y'all can keep talking all that craziness if you want, but I wouldn't, especially if you're a parent right now with small children in your home that can be taken out of your home. I wouldn't keep having those conversations on YouTube. I really wouldn't. Because that's crazy. That is completely crazy, and it makes no sense. And like I said, you got to be careful of doing things like that, because you never know who is monitoring what is going on here. And it doesn't have to be the FBI. It could be other entities, other agencies that can really mess your life up. So when it comes to children, remember that. Be real careful about what you say on here about children. Seriously. There are international laws as well as domestic laws, national laws, and local laws about messing with children. You don't want to be on here talking crazy shit about children. You can say mostly anything you want about grown-ass males. Please don't do... I'm telling you, black women, please don't get in the habit of doing crazy shit like that on this YouTube platform about children. I had just did a live the other night about how black women got to understand, you can't come on here acting as reckless and as crazy as you want to, because this platform is here with plenty of people on here strategically put for a reason. And if you happen to fall into one of those traps, nobody's going to save you once you fall through that trap. So stop fucking around on here. Stop it. And this shit is not even real life stuff. This is bullshit on here. No, none of these people's opinions from these platforms actually feed you or take care of you in your life. So stop falling into being in the clique of that stupidity and continuing and spreading garbage on here. That can be seriously harmful to people's lives. You really didn't think that one through. You coming at me, attacking me, being upset because I'm telling black women to be good mothers to their children, period. And to think about the outcome of mistreating your kids. Did you really think about that? Or were you just so caught up in this silly shit about black males versus black women? And it's real simple. It's so simple that none of y'all do it. If you have a problem with black males, just stop fucking with them. Period. Stop fucking with their channels. Stop fucking with them in real life. And they'll go away. They can't do anything to you if you do not let them. And I mean that shit literally, figuratively, and everything else. If you would stop being a pussy and start doing what you gotta do, they would stop being able to best you. Because you wouldn't be fucking with them like that. All this shit is just getting too ridiculous at this point, and y'all need to bring it back in. Regroup and talk about things that make sense about the progression of black women and getting our lives together. And it ain't about promoting no fucking bride to black women, because that is not the answer to it. The answer is self-reflection and self-correction and doing something for yourself so that you don't fall into these traps that are intentionally put into the black community to keep us down as a people. Come on, y'all. Y'all know better than this. You really do. Y'all know a lot better than this. And you're just being silly now. You really are. And that's all I got to say about it. Black women, please don't fall into this stupid shit, okay? And I'll tell you again. Stop. You know what? Don't stop. Keep doing this shit. You'll learn the hard way. Keep talking crazy shit on this platform about children, and you are gonna find out the hard way. Those people are gonna watch you. They keep fucking around. You're gonna find out when you get that fucking knock at your door, or you get pulled over when you driving one day in the street, and they pull out that federal fucking ID on your ass. Then you will find out it's not smart to be playing on YouTube about talking crazy shit about children. All right. Anyway.